One of Canada's most high-profile cannabis advocates is being accused of inappropriate sexual behavior with a teenage girl. Marc Emery, the self-proclaimed Prince of Pot, admitted in a Facebook statement that he's a touchy guy and sexually outspoken, but maintains he never harassed or assaulted anyone. None of the accusations have resulted in charges. But tonight, you will be hearing from an accuser, and we'll also take a close look at Emery's 1,800-word response. And we have to warn you, some of the content is sexually graphic.
I mean, I was very uncomfortable sitting on his lap and smoking out of that bong, knowing that it was obviously simulating oral sex. And he was 50 and I was 17, so I was obviously very uncomfortable.
Deidre Olson, a freelance reporter, began a Twitter thread writing about her encounters with Marc Emery. She claims as a 17-year-old girl, she was offered a job at Cannabis Culture Store in downtown Vancouver. They began chatting online. Deidre posted snapshots of some of the messages she claims were from Emery in 2008. He allegedly writes, "When I know you're coming, I'll have a treat ready for you. Kisses and fond regards, your Prince Marc." In another message, he asks about Deidre's boyfriend and says, "I hope you're bringing him here one day so I can tell him how lucky he is. I miss you." She tells me the messages quickly became graphic, but she hit delete to hide them from her parents.
We started talking. It very quickly turned into him asking about me and my boyfriend. He started telling me about his genitalia and his sex life with his wife over Facebook Messenger.
Deidre eventually did meet up with Emery for a hangout. He gave her a tour of the lounge, and that's when she claims he encouraged her to sit on his lap. Did you want to say no to that?
I'm sure I did. It's kind of like one of those things where it's in the moment and someone asks you and you don't really want to, but you're like, I guess so, sure. I just wanted to feel cool and be a part of something.
In her Twitter thread, the now 27-year-old called Cannabis Culture an old boys club and toxic environment and believes Emery was grooming her. She says he went into graphic detail about sexual experiences.
I don't think there's ever an appropriate time for a 50-something-year-old man to be talking about his sexual exploits with 15 to 17-year-olds present.
Just after midnight, Emery took to Facebook responding to these allegations in an 1,800-word statement. He writes, "I do say outrageous things, but it is my sincere belief that I've never harmed anyone or sexually aggressed anyone in my life." He goes on to say, "I've never had sex with anyone under 19 ever, so this idea I'm grooming young women is not true. I am a touchy guy probably, but I would like to think that it was modest, non-sexual touching always. It was only adult women or men I would be giving back rubs to." He also spoke directly to Deidre's allegations. "I never asked for sex and offered to talk to her parents if she wanted to work at Cannabis Culture. I regret Deidre finds the experience now traumatizing. To you, Deidre, I'm sorry. I went out of bounds and the experience has become unpleasant. It was immature of me and bad judgment, but I only ever felt positive and glad to know you in our correspondence." Now, Deidre tells me she did not go to police back in 2008, but now feels empowered to share her story because of the Me Too movement. We have reached out to police in Toronto, Vancouver, and Hamilton. Those are the former locations of Cannabis Culture stores. No charges have ever been laid against Emery related to inappropriate sexual behavior. Due to privacy reasons, police tell us they cannot comment on any complaints or investigations into suspects unless charges are laid.